So recording is going on. Then start video first. Share the screen. Share the sound. Okay, I think everything is all right now. Another 40 minutes, there should not be any issue. Right, so you are getting my voice and the screen is getting shared. So coming back to this now, we are at this stage. So we are also taking care of finding the sum. So sum equal to data of 0. There can be different ways of finding the solution, right? So you are initializing sum with data of 0, and every time you increase the sum value by adding that. Sum is equal to sum plus, or sum plus equal to data of I, right? The next item also is getting added to sum. So that part also is taken care. And now you should be able to print the details like, so sum of all the items, sum of all items, entered maybe percent D, and then from here. So and then what else? Average also we require, or the maximum value, minimum value, average. So these are the various average. Let us say average of all items entered, and this is going to be like a real number, right? So we say percentage D instead of that. You say percentage followed by some dot up to 2 decimal points. F. So this is the format specifier. Percentage dot 2F means dot 2 means 2 decimal points we want to, and F stands for floating point. So remaining thing, it like depending upon the number, it's going to print that much of the bit. So average here, you need to calculate. Average, we have declared a variable there. If we want, we can actually assign to that. So let us actually first calculate the average here. AVG equal to, sum is already there and n also is there. So if you say sum divided by n, it's going to perform integer division. It's going to perform integer division. So is it integer division or floating point division? Let us see here. Anyhow, so sum divided by n, let us look into that particular part of it. Sum average of all items entered is, so here say AV. And then max and minimum also let us actually print. Max and min. Max of all items, right? So that's what we want. Max of all items. Similarly, min of all items entered. Good enough for the time being. Essentially, the purpose of this particular program is to know stats.java, Java Programs Foundation. So purpose of this is to know about how to work on arrays and how to read all the items until the end of the file, right? As you can see here, while the scanner has got one more item, read the next item and store it and repeat that particular process. This is what you are actually doing. Now you have to compile it. Compile it means Java C followed by, you don't know where we have stored and copied. That's not the place somehow. So it is actually stored in H courses foundations of CS Java program stack. H colon courses foundations Java program stack. Where are we? We are core Java. We are probably. Where are we? Core Java is not. Java program, maybe we might have created. Courses. Foundations of CS. Sorry. Foundations of CS. Foundations of CS. And then Java program. Okay. Is not recognized as internal this thing. CD. We have not put CD here. So we are there. So REC and stats.java. Stats.java is there here. Java C dot followed by stats.java. Compile. Mn equal to data of I, semicolon is missed there, line number 25. Line number 25. 25 here, you have to put a semicolon. Save it, back to that, and again compile it. Right. So compilation part is done. Now let me just clear the screen, right? And then I'm running Java followed by stats. This is how I'm there. If you see there, it's displaying a greater than symbol, meaning that it is waiting for the data. It's waiting for the data. So I will enter 12. So it's still waiting, right? 5, 78, 34. You can also repeat the numbers, right? Nothing wrong. 5, one more time, 90. So altogether 3 plus 3, 6 numbers we have entered. Now, how to say that, yes, I'm done with the data and all that? In the Windows environment, you press Control Z. End of the file, in Windows environment, while entering the data, you have to enter Control Z. In Linux or Unix platforms, you have to enter Control D. But they can also be changed. Those are the default characters that you have to enter. So now I'm pressing Control Z, as you can see, and then press Enter. Then it's going to say like, so number of items entered is 6. So 3 plus 3, 6, no issue. Sum of all items entered is 224. It has added all of them. Most likely it's okay. And then there is some problem there. So somewhere in line number, sum of all items entered, up to that is okay. But later, what is that it is saying? Illegal format conversion accepted. F is not equal to java.lang.integer. Format specifier problem somewhere. 224 stats.java 31. Line number 31. Let us see here. In our program, line number 31. Let us see what is there in line number 31. Percentage E, new line. That we got it. Only thing is now like printf average of all items percentage average. That's the problem. If you see there actually, what is the data type of average actually? Data type of average you declared it as integer, whereas you are giving here the format specifier as percentage 2f floating point. This is wrong, right? This is actually wrong. This should be a float or double kind of thing you need to declare the average. Then you can always give the format specifiers and all that, right? It's okay to commit mistake, but you should understand what you are actually doing, right? So here you say float followed by average. It's a real number. So that's why you are specifying like this. And now float equal to average equal to sum by n, right? So at least syntax error it should go. What it is going to do, we'll see. Percentage dot 2f average there as a part of. Let me now save it, right? I think all of you are following what we are actually doing slowly one by one. And now again, like what to do, like you need to recompile Java C followed by stat and all this. Invalid, sorry, it's Java program, right? You have to compile the Java program. Okay, so compilation is okay. Now you have to again run the program. Java followed by stat. So it's waiting there, 12, some 5, 67, 90, and then probably 15. 5 is getting repeated once again. Let us see. And this is this about 6 numbers. It's like just like that we are actually taking. So there are 6 numbers there. When you add up all of them, 194, you can see there 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 7, 14 plus 5 plus 5, 24. First digits if you add, 24 you are getting. So 4 is there. And 2 and you have to add up all the tens list. 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 6, 9, 9 plus 9, 18, 18 plus 1, 19. So 194 sum is correct one. Average now 194 by 6. So 6 threes are 18 and 6 twos are 12. So whereas 14 there actually. So we should get this to be, it is actually performing only integer division. It's not performing the real division kind of entity. So minimum is 90, maximum is 5. Oh, so is it correct? Like, so we don't know what we are actually doing there. So we are doing the reverse of it. So let us see here. No. So here the message is like this, whereas the variable what we have put there is like this. So all these things are acceptable. When you are writing the program, nothing wrong in making mistakes, but you should know and you should always make attempt to write program, right? So minimum is minimum always. Now you want to perform. Is there anything called a real division? I don't know, like, so I'm just making an attempt here. So divided by, I don't know whether it's correct or not, but there are some languages that perform. Uh, Let me just make a trial kind of thing. So invalid flag stats dot now. So somehow it is by default getting this particular. So slash is not there. It's there in Python, but not in Java. So real division you cannot get in this particular pattern. But in case you want to, so what you have to do is, sorry, you have to make one of them to be real. Sum divided by this. So you say convert this value of the sum into a float, so that the division is going to be real division. So what are you doing? If both the numerator and denominator are integers, it is going to perform integer division. It is going to truncate the fraction. If you are interested in grabbing the fraction also, then convert one of them, like at least one of them, into float. How do you convert a data type, a value from one data type to another data type? Simply prefix or precede the corresponding value, the value of sum. You are proceeding with float like this. Then what happens? The same sum value 190 becomes 190.0, and then you are going to get the real distance, right? So I think now you can easily save it. Come back to this particular thing, clear the screen, and then compile it, and then run the program. Now you specify, for example, 10, 20, and then 45, 15, and then 95. Let us say, and then control Z, 5 items. So it so happened probably that is fraction only. There is no fraction there. 185 is sum, and 185 by 5 naturally there won't be any fraction, but we have to enter the data once again. Min and max is okay, 10 and that is all right. So let us enter the same data, 10, 20, 45. Instead of 15, I will enter 10. Then definitely you will end up 95 here, and then control Z. Now instead of 185, it will still become 180. 180 also is exactly divisible. So we will have some number like other than divisible by 5 kind of thing. So 3 something like this. And now there should be a fraction there. Control Z. And now you can see 6 items are there. 183 is the total. 183 30.50. 6 threes are there. 6 0 are 6.5. And 3 is the minimum and 95 is the maximum. Okay, so I think all of you might have gone through this entire thing, about 36, 37 lines. Simple ideas. but you need to slowly pick up the skills, whatever that are actually required. So you are importing java.util.star. All of you understand what is the importance of this because you are using the scanner class that is present inside this java.util package. And then public class name. And then here, this is the main method. And so int data. So this is the actual learning. This is the actual learning, like whereby you are able to declare array and you are able to create arrays. You are able to create the array and then declare other variables and all that. And this is the one style by which you are able to read the data until the end of the file. So you can give any large amount of data without actually worrying about. Otherwise, what normally you do is you enter 0 in order to exit, that kind of stuff. But in case 0 itself is there as a part of the data, what to do? Right? So that is the advantage of this particular style. All valid numbers you can enter. Whenever you are done with the data, you enter Control Z. And after that, enter. So that's going to take care of doing all that. And then max equal to this, min equal to this, and all that. I hope all of you have understood, have followed. Any difficulty? Any questions here? Everything is fine, right? With this particular example. So, right? So you can chart there. So, okay. So Suresh, I think one of you have specified. Thank you here. All right. So coming back to this now, you can convert the same program into a command line argument whereby when you enter the data like this, Java followed by stat, and then give the data here itself. You should be able to work on. This logic you should be able to build now. Because all of you are already familiar with how to work on command line arguments, how to convert these strings that are supplied in the command line into numbers. You are familiar with that. And then how to actually probably what you can do is first identify how many arguments are there. According to that, you create an array with that particular capacity and complete the actual logic. These are all simple programs. But remember, if you can write and understand small programs, you can definitely write bigger programs as well. But do not remember the program itself. Remember the structure, style, how the program, various parts are actually making in order to become a complete full-fledged program. If you understand these basic elements, you can always write bigger programs very easily. There should not be any issue. So command line arguments version for this same program, also you just simply work out there as a part of that. Then what we thought about is the following. Reading until the end of the file we have done. Now there is something called binary search, linear search, or expression class, that kind of stuff. Expression class means essentially, so expressions means what? Normally, for example, you want to build a small program whereby it's going to display always a greater than symbol. And whenever you enter something like 10 plus 7, it should display 17. And again display the prompt. Right? A small calculator. It's a very mini calculator kind of. But you can't have bigger expressions and all that. To begin with, very small, whereby an operand 1, operator, operand 2. That means there are three items that are there in every line. 3 items that are there in the line. You want to separate those 3 items so that the first item becomes the operand 1, second item becomes the operator, the third item becomes the operand 2. And then somehow do the necessary calculation and print it. The kind of operators that should work there should be plus, minus, multiplication, division, and percentage kind of entity. Let us see. So these are the things what we are expecting. We have to now write a small program whereby it continuously displays the greater than symbol and you enter your expression and it calculates, displays the result, once again asks and so on like. So that is the program requirement now. Program requirement. So now we should be able to read not only a number, we should also be able to read the operator there, a plus, minus, star, that kind of stuff. Essentially, what we will do is we will read the entire thing as a single string. We will read the entire thing as a single string. Essentially, one line. You will be reading one entire line. And that happens to be a string. This string now, you want to perform an important operation called a split operation. You want to split the expression into three different items. Split is very useful operation on the string and it is available in all the languages. We will make use of it and split that. So one bigger string is split into smaller strings. That is what it does. But how is that it is going to split that? We may have to specify that, a kind of a delimiter or whatever it is, right? Some kind of this thing. Or what it is we may have to do something here. So one simple thing that we can actually do is, so the user should always enter a space as a delimiter. Only then it will work. Let us say. So to that extent we can, to begin with, nothing wrong. Later we can enhance it by not insisting that there should be a space and all that. But how to do that is a different issue. But for the time being, let us simplify the problem and then let's try to write program for that. So operand, space, operator, space, another operand. So space is a delimiter now in this particular scenario. So the split operation, you can instruct the split operator, split method, that space is a delimiter, you split that. Then what happens? It can easily split and say that 10 is one item, plus is another item, and 7 is one more item. Then it understands, oh, 10 is the first argument, second argument is plus, third argument is 7. And then like you can have your own logic and do all that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's now build a small, like a class also, probably, an object-oriented style. Let us do that. In the process, small things you will get used to it. So definitely, let us go into that. So here, so coming to this particular thing. First, we will develop a small class actually, an independent class without the main method. And that class name is, we will say expression class. We will say expression class. So we'll say here public. So let us save it here first to begin with. So this is a expression, right? So we'll say expr. Expr is the name of the class. And then this is Java program. So you say Java and then save it. For public class name is expression. So you say expr. So far we have been writing classes with main method. Now we are going to develop a class that doesn't contain a main method, but it has got its own logic so that you can create objects of this particular class. You can create objects of this particular class. So public class expr, curly brace begin and. And whenever you create any class, most of the time, you want to create objects of that class. And we should tell the system that how to create the objects of this particular thing. What data are you going to store? So what is the data that you are likely to store? Integer followed by operand 1, right? OP1, comma, OP2. Two operands are required for our operation. And then probably the operator is going to be there, and that is OP, and it is a character data type. We'll say character data type. So now you are actually declaring you are actually declaring within the EXPR class all this data, and this data can be even made to be private, so that you cannot access the data directly from the object, right? So you can say private here. So you are saying that the data that is stored inside the EXPR object cannot be accessed directly from outside of that particular class. Only the methods within the EXPR only can access this data. Outside people cannot access. If they want to know what is the value of it, they can take the help of EXPR methods, right? So we will develop all such kind of things. So by making them to be private, the data becomes hidden. The data within the object becomes hidden there as a part of it. So now you have to develop the constructor methods. There are certain type methods that are actually like, if the method name is the same as that of the class name, if the method name is the same as that of the class name, then we call such a method as a constructor method. And that method is used to create the object. Is used to create the object. So we can say public and EXPR, right? Public EXPR. It doesn't return anything there as a part of it, and it takes as a parameter a string. Yes, string. So what we mean by this is that whatever is expression the user enters is going to be made available here straight away. And now you have to split that into different tokens and then store them into these things. So what we will do is, we will declare now, like for example, string class, string followed by. So OP1 is there, and all that particular thing. Like for example, string followed by what is that data, like that is going to be split into various tokens. So we'll say token, right? Token equal to yes dot split. The given string that you are actually going to provide is going to be split into various tokens. And how are you going to split? By assuming that a space is going to be a delimiter. Space is going to be a delimiter. S dot split. Then what happens? The first argument comes into tokens 0, second tokens 1, third tokens 2, like that. We always assume that first token is the operator 1, operand 1, third operand, this thing is that one, and so on. So now what to do? You have to convert those string of digits into a number. So we already know about how to convert string of that kind of thing by just simply saying OP1 equal to tokens of 0 dot %, right? Actually, like here, integer dot %, sorry, integer dot %int of tokens of 0, right? This is how you can like convert a string of digits into a number. Similarly, the second argument. So, very quickly, time is running out today. All right, so OP2 equal to integer dot %int of. This is available in tokens of 0, 1, and 2. The second 0, 1, 2. Right. So this is available there as a part of it. Similarly, OP, the character OP equal to. So it is there in the first character that is available within the corresponding string. Tokens of 1. Tokens of 1 contains that, but that is a string actually. We are interested in extracting only the first character from that particular entity. So tokens of 1 dot charat. There is a method called charat on the string in order to access the individual character. So you are interested in the accessing the individual character. So This is how you can initialize the EXPR object there as a part of it, right? So you are actually able to initialize them and do all. Now you can actually build like what you can ask it to calculate, right? So you can now build public methods, public int, and then what? Evaluate, for example. Eval is a method that you want to build, or calculate, evaluate, or whatever. The moment you just specify evaluate, so on like what are you evaluating? You are evaluating that like expression that is there as a part of it. So here you can specify very easily if what? If OP double equals, if OP double equals what? If the OP double equals like what it is plus. If OP double equals plus, return OP1 plus OP2, right? So like this, you can easily calculate for different things like this. Let us see here, minus, multiplication is what? So multiplication is also. For the time being, let us assume these are the things. So it's going to return and all. It's a very small class that we have built. So let us save this to begin with. expr.java is already there. But I think another 6 minutes time is there, 6 minutes time. Okay. So we should be able to use this and do something here as a part of it. So we have to now write a class that is going to make use of expr kind of thing. So another tester this thing, right? So we can say, let me copy this whole thing and develop another class, expr tester, right? Or we can say test expr. Save as, save as. Let's see expr. Java and like. Now in this you require the main method actually. You require the main method. So public static void main string array r. Now what is to be done? Like you should be able to create the what it is expr object. So how do you create the expr object? By declaring like expr followed by, let us say, ex is equal to new expr of some test kind of thing. So 10 plus like let us say 7. 10 plus 7. So for all the three different kind of things, 3 variables we can declare and 3 different operations also we can declare. Like so this may be minus and this may be multiplication. So like this you can actually create the object of our own in this particular manner. And after that now system dot out dot printf of within this value of ex1 result, right? Value of ex1 result colon percentage d, it returns a new this thing, comma. How do you execute that? By just simply saying ex1 dot, what did we say? Eval. Eval is a method that we have actually written there as a part. Eval is what we have actually written. This is for ex1, ex2, ex3. like this. So the logic is slowly getting complete. So like this is a very small test method, whatever that we actually have. Now we should be able to compile both of them and then run them. So how do you do that? First you compile expr like this. So missing return statement. So we'll have to line number 15 for expr. Return OP1 if actually what is happening is what happens if none of these conditions becomes true. That is the reason why he is saying. So just simply say whenever it doesn't belong to any one of the categories, you say return 0 kind of thing, right? So conditionally like this. So what otherwise also you have to do that. So that is one small error that is there as a part of it. Now expr is done, but you can't run the expr because there is no main method. So whereas if you want to run and test that particular thing, first compile the test expr. Now you can run the test expr in this particular manner. As we can see, 10 plus 7 is 70, 10 minus 3 minus 7 is 3, and 10 into 7 is 7. So like this, you can develop small classes like this, and use these classes, create those corresponding objects in another program, and get the results of those related stuff. Right? So it's getting time there as a part of it. Again, we will re-log in and continue for another 10-15 minutes and close actually by just simply discussing what we have just now done. Right? So that's the purpose of rejoining. So when you say new expr, this is the time where you are actually creating the object. Whatever you are invoking here, there should be corresponding matching constructor method inside the expr. What are you passing on to this expr? You are passing on a string within double quotes 10 plus 7. You are passing on a string. And in expr, this constructor method, whatever that you are actually developing, this is the constructor method. Your constructor method name will be the same as that of the name of the class. And you can have any number of what you call constructor methods with different signatures and all that. So here, what are you doing? Whatever is the data that is passed from there while creating the object will become available as a parameter to S. And then you are splitting them and all that particular thing and so on. And whenever you are evaluating based on the values there as a part of it, based on the this thing. So it's getting close there. We will rejoin.